Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Thursday, the 11th day of June 2026. I hope you're all safe and healthy today. I hope your families are safe and healthy and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the area of health, along with first responders doing all they can to save lives every day. Blessings upon those that pick up garbage, keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings upon those that help to save those children and teenagers that are victims of child molestation and pedophilia. The ones that are out here trying to rescue those that are victims of prostitution, victims of child prostitution, victims of pornography, victims of child pornography, victims of human trafficking, victims of sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, profiteers, and perverts that create demands that cause these evil industries to exist. Finally, blessings upon the homeless, more than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, military veterans, homeless in the United States. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There was a basketball game, was there? The game of the history of the New York Knicks happened last night. Um, the Knicks come back from 29 points down. This has never happened in the NBA, in the history, in the finals, to win game four, go up 3-1. We talked about this many times over the several years. A team that wins the championship has to have a few bounces go their way. And I like the Kawhi Leonard last second shot against Philadelphia in the Eastern Conference Finals a few years ago. Kawhi shoots this shot, it bounces around the rim and drops in. If that shot falls out, Philly is going to the finals. But the shot dropped and it changed the whole history. That type of thing wins championships for teams. You need those things to go right. For the Knicks, that happened against Cleveland. It happened in the 1-point win last weekend in San Antonio, and it definitely happened last night. It was a combination of chess moves along with the ball bouncing your way. The ball bouncing your way goes like this. Josh Hart, before we talk about him, he had a terrible game. But before we talk about him, 14, 15 seconds left. De'Aaron Fox has the ball in the open court. You run out the clock or you get fouled to put the game out of reach. He tried to make a layup. OG Anunoby blocked him. That shows a lack of championship experience, a lack of big game NBA experience from De'Aaron Fox. And he is one of the veterans on that San Antonio team coming from the Kings. And so it shows, and that's emblematic of the whole team. They were really getting happy. They were celebrating in the first half. Now, the Knicks were playing terrible in the first half. But one thing I believed, I didn't know they were going to win this game, but one thing I believed, even when they were down big, I believed they were going to play 48 minutes. They were going to come at the Spurs hard for 48 minutes. And I also believed that the third and the fourth quarter, they were going to be much harder because that's what the Knicks do. So I didn't know the outcome. I'd be lying if I said I did, but I knew they weren't going to give up. And I knew the Spurs were celebrating too early. It looked bad because they were down 29, and I'm like, this is going to be hard to overcome. Okay, when they got to 20, I was like, okay, this might be over. But I knew the Knicks were going to fight to come back. The big move that changed everything, I had expected before this series started that Mike Brown would throw different looks at Victor Wembanyama, Cat, Mitch Rob, and OG. Because OG has guarded big guys many times before. So I thought they would do that. And I thought that Coach Mitch would take Wembanyama off of Cat because Cat would destroy him. So the first two games, Wembanyama is guarding OG, Cat, as we know. Cat went off enough so that Knicks win both games. Then he switched in game 3 to a smaller player. And then the Knicks made the mistake, as I mentioned, of trying to put Cat on a low block against a small player, which is just a setup for a double team. And that worked for the Spurs. Last night, he started off with Cat. Cat gets 2 fouls in the first minute of the game. Then he brings in Mitch. Mitch was off last night. I'm not talking about just his shooting. His mind was off. He just wasn't in it. You could just see it. His win was not good. He just wasn't in it last night. That happens, okay? It just happened at the wrong time. So then Mike Brown puts in Ariel Hooporti, who did a great job. And I thought we would see more Hooporti after that. As I thought, Hooporti got 6 fouls. Use them, okay, on Victor. But instead, when the Knicks are going to the bonus, he puts Mitchell Robinson back in. Bad move. Obviously, they're going to go hack a Mitch. Obviously, he's going to miss the foul shots. That's what happened. So I'm wondering, then he goes and gets Jeremy Sohan for a minute or so, and Sohan does a good job. But I'm wondering why he didn't go back to Hooporti. And then, in the fourth quarter, he puts OG on Victor. That's when the Knicks made stops. You see, brethren, most people, when you look at highlights of the game, they're going to show you all the offensive plays. That's what they do for highlights. But the game was won defensively. Put it this way. In the first half, the Spurs shot 68% from 3. 68%. I knew that wasn't going to be sustainable. Nobody's going to keep doing that in the league, okay? They're going to balance out. When you look at the final three-point percentage for the Spurs, it was 40. What does that mean? They started off at 68 and then to 40. That means at some point they were shooting 12% from 3. Everything changed. So there was a combination of their hot streak cooling down, and the Knicks stops. At one point, the Knicks got 5 stops in a row. That's when I knew the comeback was on. Okay? And that's when OG was guarding Victor, because he's strong enough to push Victor out. He's agile enough to get with Victor when he tries to put the ball on the floor. And he showed that perfectly. Then the Knicks started getting stops. And then, this is the thing. We talk about Alvarado. But look, what most people don't understand, they like to glorify players. And I hear you. You're getting caught up in the moment. But I'm looking at it like this. The Knicks, I always said, had too many weapons. Alvarado's one of those weapons. So you got, and people was talking about we need Kohler. I was like, see, people get short-sighted and start making stupid suggestions. Look, Alvarado, Deuce, G.A.M.E, Jordan Clarkson all played last night. Then there was Mitchell Robinson. And then Jeremy Sohan. Mike Brown went 12 deep last night. And of course, Deuce didn't have a good game. G.A.M.E didn't have his normal, shooting game. Clarkson didn't either. But Alvarado, he came in there and was like Bob Cousy out there. And him and Brunson were victimizing the Spurs. And the ball, and what happened, because they were getting stops because of the move to put OG on Victor Wembanyama, if you notice, the ball started moving. See, with the Knicks, it's unfortunate. You'd like to have great defense no matter what your offense is doing, but that's not the Knicks. The Knicks offense starts to click when they get stops. They got to get stops. And they started getting stops, and all of a sudden the ball started moving. It wasn't moving before. It started moving. And when it started moving, everybody's touching it on several possessions. The ball moved around the horn to an open shooter. That's when the game was changing. I wasn't sure if they were going to have enough time to get all the way back, because at some point they had like 5 stops in a row, and then Spurs hit a couple. Victor hit a couple shots. Vassell hit a shot. And I was like, I don't know if we got enough time to get this all the way back. But then the Knicks were rolling. And Josh Hart, who was playing like crap the last 2 games. The first 2 games, okay. But the last 2 games, he has not been in the game. He will tell you that himself. He was not in the game mentally. And last night, he gets a steal blow, smokes the legs. He should have dunked the ball. This is the championship. If you're going to dunk the basketball, this is the time. He tries to lay it in and miss. That would have put the Knicks up. Then he fails the box out, and they get a basket down the stretch. He messed up a couple times on that, okay? But OG was guarding Victor, and OG, see, this is the thing. Again, too many weapons. So on Monday's game, OG scored 28 in the loss, a 4-point loss. And they weren't moving the basketball, okay? And they weren't playing great defense, obviously. But last night, the ball is moving. OG is in the flow, okay? OG is in the flow. He scores 33. Brunson does the assassin thing. He scores 36. Cat was 13 and 10 plus 17. Then we know Alvarado comes off the bench for 16 minutes plus 11, 8 points, 3 or 4, 2 or 3 from the 3-point line, 3 assists. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. And so the Knicks depth, and again, look, Mitchell Robinson officially is talking in terms of rotation minutes. Brown went with 8. Okay, Alvarado, G.A.M.E, Robinson. But, you know, he played Sohan 3 minutes. He played Houporti 3 minutes. He played Clarkson 5 minutes. He played McBride 7 minutes. He's looking to see who's ready. We got so many weapons. He's looking to see who's ready. Well, it was Alvarado. It was Alvarado. And I think we got a formula now. They got to counter that, because you should start off with OG guarding Victor in the next game. And then go back to Cat again on the other side of the floor. Make Victor or whoever's guarding him work from the perimeter on Cat. And it worked, because Cat hit a huge 3 down the stretch of that game in the fourth quarter as the clock was running out. A huge 3. And Cat, that was the only 3 he took, and he made it. Okay? He becomes more efficient when the ball is moving. Cat does. So that was a tremendous, tremendous game, man. Tremendous, tremendous game. OG, of course, at the end with the tip in, that was it. That's what everybody remembers. That's what everybody's going to remember. That's going to be immortalized in Knicks history from now on. But that game was won when they put OG on Victor and they started getting stops. That's how the game was won, okay? The turnovers last night now, Brunson had 3 turnovers, 7 assists. Hart had 2, shows he only had 2 turnovers, but they were bad. They were bad. A couple of bad, stupid passes. And then they had 13 altogether. Okay. That's still got to be improved. But again, it's crazy. But when the Knicks are getting stops, everything flows better. The turnovers, the ball, everything starts to flow when they're getting stops. So the key is, how do we counter them defensively, which Brown found the formula by putting OG on Victor. So he had OG on him. And then even when Cat wasn't in the game, he had OG on Victor. OG is strong. OG is agile. He can handle Victor. Okay? And he did. He did. Wembanyama still hit a couple of huge baskets down the stretch. He played 44 minutes, scored 24 points, but he was 9 for 25 and 2 for 8 from the field. See, most of that was when OG was on. Okay? So that's what we got to go with the next game. We got to have OG on him from opening tip. Let Cat guard whoever, okay, else. And let Cat do what the Spurs want Victor to do. In other words, they put a smaller guy on Cat and let Wembanyama roam. Okay, put OG on Wembanyama and let Cat roam. Okay, and then do the same thing, OG on Wembanyama and let Mitch Robinson roam. That's cool. Okay, that's it right there. The key thing that caused them to have such a big lead is they were nailed 68% from 3. 68%. They came out the gate nailing threes. I'm surprised. De'Aaron Fox 4 of 9. Vassell, I know he could shoot, but 5 of 8. I mean, they came out the box nailing 3. Harper, I was surprised at that. I was glad they made him a jump shooter. I wasn't worried about him hitting some threes because I knew at the end he was going to come back to earth. But 3 of 6. They were nailing threes, okay, to start the game. And that caused them to go forward fast. The Knicks were starting slow again. But like I said, even though everybody makes a big deal of they slow starts, and I hear that doesn't help us to get slow starts like that. But I knew they were going to, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, they won't keep coming at you. They wasn't going to stop coming at you. You were going to have them in your face all game, even if you was up 40. They were going to come at you, okay? And that was the hope, that because they do that, the Knicks are never scared. People say they're soft, they're scared. Y'all just stop buying. Stop tripping, man. The Knicks are going to come at you for 48 minutes. Brunson's going to come at you to the final buzzer. He does it. They don't give up, okay? So they might, and they've lost games. We've seen them lose games. But Brunson will be dribbling that ball, coming at you all the way, all the time. So I knew that was going to happen, but I didn't know they had enough time to come back. Nobody did. Matter of fact, I'm seeing on X people writing, okay, it's going to be 2-2. Okay, you know, this was when, okay, Mike Brown starts. Okay, they got to trade. It was already starting before the game was over. Then they all had to apologize. That's why I don't say nothing. I wait. And then here they come. Here they come. And yes, they came back and won from 29 down. No team in history has ever done that. And this is the thing. Wembanyama is a mentally strong young man. He really is. And he is the leader of that team, even though he's only 22. Not just talent-wise, but mentally, he's a mentally strong young man. But he shows his youth in pointing at his head like this at Mitchell Robinson, and the game wasn't over yet. Okay? And same thing with Harper, the rookie. He starts getting all hyped and putting his tongue out and stuff as if the game was over in the first half. This is the league. This is the chip. People going to fight to the end. Okay? And the Knicks did. So that's why the Knicks are going to win this chip. Now, it's appropriate in this, too. The Knicks lost to the Spurs in 99 4-1. Guess what will happen Saturday night? The Knicks win that game, they win the chip 4-1 against the same team that beat them 27 years ago. It's appropriate. Okay? So I'd like to see a continuation of OG on Victor, at least during at least most of the, like half the game. If Victor's in, oh, and this is the good thing about that. Victor, like last night, he played 44 out of 48 minutes, which is a high for him. He might do it again, but he does get weaker as he gets more tired. So when he sits, OG can sit. That's what Tibbs used to do, and I think Brown do. So you guard Victor with OG, and when OG sits, when Wembanyama sits, sit OG too. Let him get some rest, okay? And then come back. When Victor come back, you come back, okay? And you keep on him all night. And OG would do it. Okay, OG's a dog. He would do it. The thing is, when OG first came to the Knicks, if y'all remember, they won like 12 straight. And then he hurt his elbow. Remember that? That was the first year he was with it. They won like 12 straight. They was really crushing. And OG, with him, they were clicking. And then he hurt his elbow. See? So it was always, and then last year, he hurt his hammy. And so it was about the health. This year, OG's been healthy most of the year. Okay, he's been healthy almost all year, and for these playoffs, he's completely healthy. And when he's healthy, he's a legit two-way player. 33 last night in lockdown defense. Not everybody could do that. Not everybody could do that. That's a talent in itself. That's a talent, and OG showed. He been shown he could do that. Okay, and so 6'7", 240 pounds of fury. Grown-ass man energy came last night. Okay? Cat didn't work. Mitch Rob didn't work. Okay, game time. Game time. And he brought it. He brought it. And that's the thing. So many weapons. That's why when Brunson goes to hero ball, he takes away the weapons. But when he shares the ball, and when he gets his teammates involved, like he did last night, you activate McCall. You activate OG. You activate Cat. You activate Hart when his head is in the game. And now you've just added weapons. Then Brown could reach to his bench. Last night, it was Alvarado. Another night, it might be Deuce. In fact, when they played the final game, I think it was against Atlanta, Deuce had like 5 or 6 threes. You never know whose night it's going to be. Then there's Shamet, who's usually on point with his jumpers, money, right? So that's the blessing of having weapons. Tibbs would only have like 7 or 8 guys. Brown went 12 last night in the championship game. 12. Okay? And it wasn't just for rest. It was just strategy. And again, when he gets OG on Wembanyama, boom, it started clicking. That was it. Started clicking. Okay? Then he brings in Alvarado, boom, started clicking. See, we know already about Alvarado that when he is in the game, he is trying to move the ball. That's one of his things. He's trying to move the basketball, and he's trying to get it to Cat. That's what he's doing. He's trying to get the ball to Cat, and he's trying to move the ball. Okay? Bingo. He did it last night. So, the Knicks are in good shape here. Okay? As long as everybody's healthy, nobody gets hurt, and they come out with the strategy. I want to see what the Spurs are going to do Because see, they're going to be in the same position they tried to put the Knicks in. So with OG, Victor's going to try to go on the low block. He can be doubled. Okay, OG might be able to handle him one-on-one in the low block because OG's, like I said, 6'7", 240 pounds of fury. He might be able to handle him on the low block. It's going to be a question of how the game is called, and we'll see. But yeah, the Knicks, the ball is bouncing their way. This seems like a destiny right here. This seems like they won Cleveland, plus, they come back from 22 down, game 1 in Cleveland. They win against the Spurs last week by 1 at the end of the game. They win last night against the Spurs with the last second tip in with 1.2 seconds left. Listen, man. I knew we had juggernaut. I knew we had a squad, okay? But 15 out of 16? Or 14 out of 15, whatever it is. They only lost that one game. One of the greatest teams in history is what you're looking at right now. To come back from 29 down in the championship and win. Not only does that not happen every day, it's never happened. It's never happened. I don't know, somebody tell me, how many times in NBA history, in the playoffs, have teams went 13-1? Or 12, whatever that was. I think it was 13-1. I think it was. But how many times in playoff history has that happened? Has teams gone 13 straight in the playoffs? I'm gonna tell you, it ain't happened a lot. Okay, I'm looking at the record now as I'm talking to you. The Knicks won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 1. 13 and 1. And then 14 and 1 after last night's win. And then when you go to whole history, it's 15 and 3 in these playoffs. From Atlanta to now, 15 and 3. This is one of the great runs in NBA playoff history. Nobody should be complaining about the Knicks or look about what we need to go get. This is it right here. You're looking at a team that can win a chip. This is the first time in 53 years the Knicks can win this chip. Okay? So, it's going to be a big game Saturday night. Big game. Big game. But, and my problem with the win last night is just like the Knicks, the Spurs had this problem because they were so elated from winning the West. Remember, they was all hyped like they won the whole chip, winning the West. And it hurt them coming out to game 1 to get over that hangover. I'm hoping the Knicks, Brunson, you could see it. He was emotional. He was trying to contain himself and be straight business. OG was straight business after the game. But he's trying to maintain straight business because he knows the game, this ain't over yet. So, but it's hard. You win a game like that, Madison Square Garden, they usually let the fans out right away. You start hitting for the X's when the game is over. Not last night. They were using MSG as a daggone hangout. Big club. Everybody was partying. And all the money you pay for them tickets, they better let you too. But man, I ain't seen nothing like that since Willis Reed come out the tunnel. I'm telling you, I ain't seen nothing like that since Willis Reed come out the tunnel. That was amazing. And place went nuts. Place went nuts. And I don't even accurately describe it by just saying that. Dead. Wow. Okay, so they got to compose themselves. They're going to probably be flying out to San Antonio today. They'll be there tonight, and then they'll have a day to rest and get acclimated to the time zone and all that. Then they got to be ready for Saturday night, which our time is going to be 8:30. I think San Antonio is an hour behind, so it's like either 7:30 their time or 6:30, depending on it's an hour or two. But then it's got to get acclimated. This is the biggest game in Knicks history right here coming up. This is it. It's 0-0, and this is the biggest game in Knicks history. Okay? Look here. Last night, free throws. You see, the referees knew they were being watched. That's why it was a dumb call. It was a dumb move by Mitch Rob to Bo Boy in the face like that. I hear why he did it. Boy had it coming. But they watching you. And then Victor tried to throw Bo after. They watching you. See? So last night, as far as the free throws, the Knicks had 28. They had 20. And this is including, like, look here, the beginning of the game. Victor had an offensive interference. Obvious. They didn't call it. The ball went off Victor. Obvious. They didn't call it. This is the beginning of the game. Okay? And then the backup center caught the ball in the air as it was coming through the hole, before it come through the hole. Obvious goaltending. It was Alvarado's runner. They didn't even go to review that. And I knew the fix was on. The Knicks still won, though. So they were being watched, so they put the free throws 28-20 in favor of the Knicks, but they were still trying to help Victor and them win. And they didn't. Now we go to San Antonio. You know, last night was the first time in this playoffs that the home team won a game. The Knicks won 2 in San Antonio. They lost Monday in MSG, and they just won last night at MSG. It's the first game of this series that the home team won a game. Okay? So it's been that type of series. So it's going to be a dogfight of dogfights on Saturday night. I don't know how they're going to call the game, but it's going to be a dogfight of dogfights. Josh Hart, I'm expecting him to redeem himself. There's some players you know it's going to come. And for him, he ain't going to have 3 bad games in a row. That ain't going to happen. Not with all that energy he brings. He going to be ready Saturday night. He might be a 15-rebound game. It might be a 5-3 game, 3-point game. He going to be ready to play. Okay? And that's going to be good. They should have OG guarding Victor and let the Spurs counter. And then the ball's got to move. It's got to move. It's got to move. Last night, the Knicks only had 23 assists. It still wasn't the best. But most of those 23 assists, second half. Most of those 23 assists, second half. Okay? And that was when the ball was really moving. They probably had at least 16 in the second half. The ball was moving. Okay? And that's when they started cooking. And they started that again, getting stops. Many people just skip that and they keep looking at offensive numbers on players. Stops win championships. No defense, no bueno. Enjoy this win. Enjoy the vibe. Be safe out there. Get ready for the next one. Could be the last one if we do this right. Sure.